Alright, and so we're now back here, so we're gonna check all the alternate endings again.
What? I can't hear you!
Okay, so
You
this is...
see, Dwibs, we're about to uncover all the alternate endings!
Hey!
Alright, since I'm reusing this part from the other
I
playthrough...
can't hear you over this British weather.
There will be no debug mode shenanigans in this part because it's being reused from the previous playthrough.
Alright, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
shame. I
loved your directing.
Now, believe it,
Well,
Dwibs, this is actually one point where death actually matters.
Well, Dwibs, this part is just ending, so there's not really that much I can do anyway, so...
So yeah, believe it or not, you can actually die at this part, and you can get a game over.
There you go. So here's the bad ending.
Actually, Jova, you can't get a game over
There you go,
because
Dwibs.
they're a failure on the part of the developer.
You see, Dwibs, in the previous part, we had a pretentious goody-goody ending. Now we have the pretentious bad ending.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was mainly referencing the fact, Sherry, that this is the one point where you can actually die.
So everyone died at the end.
Well, you know, I mean, as a result of the game.
What the fuck are those things?
They're ghosts, apparently.
I don't...
And over here you can see what's left of New York City.
You know, one
and
thing
over there it's a bit of Swansea.
You know, David, it's called... David, it's called world building. You should try to explain to us how the hell this world works.
Hey, Pedro.
I don't think he did world building, he did world destroying in this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Pedro. Remember the behind-the-scenes footage where one section of the team tells us this about the ghost, but then another one says something completely different, like saying, "Oh, we actually were trying to go with them being
Wow,
fish."
so even the devs don't know what's going on in the game, and they mean it.
Well, the devs are just doing what David Cage tells them to do, so...
Well, that's the thing, though. It's
wonder
like,
if he
well,
lets
two
them-
Yeah. But remember, Pedro, that moment in the behind-the-scenes footage, we're going to see it again, but you remember when, one dev said something, but then another dev said something completely different?
Yeah. Okay, so basically we're going to go back to the real world this time.
Okay.
And we're going to see, well, actually, I'll wait till we get to that point.
I like the music, at least.
Oh yeah, the music's good in this game.
Yeah.
As I said in the
Never
last
let it be said that Lorne Balfe couldn't help try to save the scene.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going to think Hans Zimmer when they first think of it, though.
No, Hans Zimmer is the producer only for the music of this game.
Yeah, but remember, a lot of people have the misconception of recognizing him as the big composer guy. It's a thing that happens, unfortunately.
Well,
Or
yeah,
fortunately.
that's actually true, yes.
Yeah.
When you see the trailers and the advertising, it says music by Hans Zimmer, even though Lorne Balfe is the actual composer.
All Lorne Balfe, he gets no credit.
Well, Dwibs, to be fair, that's kind of always what happens, and I have no idea why the hell Lorne Balfe keeps working with Hans Zimmer, even though this keeps happening. Apparently, he doesn't have any problem with it.
Yeah. It's sort of similar, but not exactly the same thing as what happened with Coraline. Except in the case of Coraline, they just said from the makers of Nightmare of Christmas, as of course everyone assumed Tim Burton. However, the good thing is Henry Silk was okay with them thinking Tim Burton was behind it.
To be fair, they only said from the director. I mean...
Well, I know, Pedro, that's basically what I'm paraphrasing.
Tim Burton didn't technically direct Nightmare Before Christmas, did he?
That reminds me,
he
speaking of
Henry
composer...
Selick did. Tim
But
Burton
everyone sort of says Tim Burton's the night before.
Well, sure, to be fair,
Christmas.
Tim Burton did come up with the story, and he was the producer and head of the project. I mean, basically...
The only reason he didn't direct it was because he was busy with another project. Basically, what I was saying was just let me finish this sentence. Basically, in the case of Henry Silk, though Henry Silk found it an advantage because it got the film all the more recognition and popularity. Anywho.
That's quite modest, humble thing, yeah. No, go on, Dwibs.
It happened recently, even. Batman vs Superman?
Yep.
At first, for a while, they couldn't decide whether to just give Hans Zimmer all the credit for doing the score, or Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL, because Junkie XL's also doing it. Although there's also stuff going around that he just did Batman's theme or something or whatever.
What have we become?
Oh, by the way, there's allow me to explain what happened. Basically, it was because of what happened in the underworld, now suddenly Aiden is gone. Okay, remember how throughout the entire game, Jodie wanted to be a normal girl and not have Aiden?
Let me guess, now she's moaning about Aiden not being there.
Gee, Dwibs, have you read this script?
Yes, actually true. I went to France and I stole the script.
Please tell me you didn't murder anyone with it. I've seen that script and it's huge.
I mean,
wait, hold on, listen to this.
Yeah, and now for some reason she has Alzheimer's now for some reason.
You see, Dwibs, this is the reason why we've been getting all the story events out of order. Because her memory's been acting up.
Of course.
See, dudes, remember that opening scene where, we saw her talking, face forward with her? Well, that was her speaking from here.
Jodie, seek a therapist, a psychiatrist, something.
Okay, here's what I did, guys. I went to...
I love that. It's like watching the same film looping over and over again.
I went to France, to Quantic Dream's headquarters. I took the script and I secretly rewrote it, and David Cage was none the wiser.
Oh my god, she's been writing this all down. So this is where the script for Beyond Two Souls came from.
Yeah, and her Alzheimer's isn't really helping because she can't remember.
Beyond Two Laytons.
Oh, God.
There's the level 5 Layton and Dick Layton.
You got me imagining David Cage doing a Breath of Layton game.
Oh, mass murder at the Pentagon.
Maybe we could have Layton Generations or something.
You see this, if he made a Layton game, he would make everybody like it in his games. Everybody would always be sad all the time. Because David Cage's idea of emotion is to have everybody be sad all the time.
And his hat would be a ghost or
the
something.
Sadness trilogy.
Yeah.
And yes, Dwibs, did you hear that? The CIA are leaving her alone because she assumes they're too busy building another condenser.
Oh yeah, hey Pedro, you know Bender, who's usually a big David Cage fan?
Yeah.
He recently restarted playing Heavy Rain, and even he's admitting, Christ, the voice acting in Heavy Rain's awful.
Yeah, I've seen that status, yeah. Well, then again,
to be fair, that's pretty much the case of everyone. To
be fair, even the fans recognize that the acting is not good in Heavy Rain.
Yeah,
you can play a game one time and really enjoy it, and then as you get older, you can go back to it. And
well, actually, Shiroi, I think he's playing the game for the first time, actually.
The first time? I think it's like his... Wait, Bender? No. I'm pretty sure he's played Heavy Rain before.
Actually,
he just said he replayed it.
Actually, he told me specifically that Beyond was his first David Cage game, so I was...
Okay. Never mind. But anyway, basically, Dwibs, to put it in layman's terms, Heavy Rain is kind of the equivalent to Sonic Adventure of the Sadness trilogy. It's still a fun game, however, there are definitely components of it that have not aged.
There are glaring issues.
Speak for yourself, Joe. I don't find Heavy Rain fun at all, but whatever.
I'm talking about how most people find Heavy Rain because Heavy Rain is still widely regarded as David Cage's best game.
But usually I like to use the term least bad, but sure. Oh look!
It's from her childhood.
Picture of a princess, because he always called her princess.
Meh.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Dwibs. Dwibs, in the case of choosing life, you get not one, not two, but several different options. Oh, but wait till you see what they all revolve around.
Is this Return of the King?
No.
You wish.
Okay, basically this is how it works. I can be alone. I can go back to Zoe, aka the homeless people. I can go back to Jay, aka the guy, the hunk from Navajo, or go back to Ryan. So
basically, the main endings revolve around who you want Jodie to spend the rest of her love life with.
Yeah, so now you get the choices at Endgame.
So alone means she's going to be screwing herself.
No, alone means she's going to travel the world and basically she's going to become a vigilante.
Now, here's the thing, Dwibs. Okay.
Yes, I don't love you, so go away.
Okay, now here's the thing, Dwibs. Back in the day, this game was touted on having 24 different endings.
These are these 24 endings, I take it.
Well, actually, Dwibs, in reality, there's only really 7. See, here's the thing. When people say 24 different... Well, see, here's the thing. It's like, well, there are technically 24 endings, but the thing is, like, well, most of them are just visual stuff. Like, well, basically, okay, you know, like how stuff has been going around the game, like how you can choose if certain people live or die, or if you do this or that. Yeah. Basically, if you do this or that, certain things like Ryan having an eye patch by having his eye taken out, or having Pa be dead or whatnot around the farm if Jody chooses to go there.
Yo-ho,
those are apparently
yo-ho, and agents like for me.
So, yeah. It's like, well, you know, give Shadow the Hedgehog credit. While the endings may have been somewhat pointless, they were at least distinct enough that, you know, they felt like actual legit different endings. But here...
I would disagree.
And the sad part, Joe, is that this way of doing alternate endings is still better than the way of doing alternate endings in 13.2.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, Dwibs, in this ending, Jody's going to be alone, but now she's going to be a superhero now. What? And to help people with ghost problems.
Yes, the beginning. So basically, Dwibs, this ending is actually the beginning to what would have been a much better game.
Yeah. It's like, hey,
Super Ellen Page.
Yes.
And
so question, Mr. Cage, why aren't we playing that game?
Oh, guys, I figured it out.
Yes.
What?
Ellen Page becomes a superhero. This game is a prequel to X-Men: The Last Stand.
Wonderful.
Well, Dwibs, there's kind of going to be something that's going to throw something into the woodwork. But yeah, like Pedro said, why couldn't Jody have done this somewhere in the middle of the story? You know, that would have made her seem like more of a hero we could empathize with. I mean, yeah, she technically helps out some select few people, but those are only really the people who have the misfortune of running into her. Okay. Maybe not misfortune in the case of the homeless guys.
Still here.
There you go. Aiden's still here. So basically, the whole thing with Aiden showing up was just pointless. Thank you.
I can't wait for my face capture technology to improve.
And yes, Dwibs, no matter which...
but the ending's not over yet.
No matter which ending you choose, it always ends like this, in this scene.
And this is pretty much it. This is the main.
Okay, Dwibs, remember how me and Bennett were having that discussion about how he doesn't like how Phantom Pain's story is technically is left unfinished, and yet he doesn't mind this? Well, there we go. Basically, every ending ends on a sequel hook. So why aren't you complaining about that and beyond? Oh, it's open to interpretation. Well, screw you.
And this is where it comes to the worst one. It's like when you think about it, Dwibs, in reality, there's only one ending. No matter what you do, you're going to come to this ending of the entire world being plunged into chaos by another condenser.
Okay, open to interpretation. That phrase. That can so easily be interpreted two ways. Either it really is open for interpretation, or it's just a lazy writer's way of saying, I can't think of anything, so you figure it out.
Exactly. The ending of Clockwork Orange actually was open left for interpretation. This is just pretentious writing.
Yeah, I can list a few other examples as well. I know I keep bringing it up, but the Rabbit's Foot from MI3.
To be fair, Dwibs, to play devil's advocate, while that was nowhere near, shall we say, good, it still had something of an overall openness to it that you could at least discuss. And and it didn't feel nearly as contrived.
Okay. This is actually of all the endings.
This one.
Okay, of all the endings, this is actually my personal favorite because to me this is the one that makes more sense because her reasoning here is that they were the only ones who helped me when I need it, so I'm just gonna stay with them. Oh, yeah, that makes more sense than the other endings to me.
Yeah, they were the only nice people in her lives besides Cole.
Yeah.
And maybe...
Are they the homeless people?
Yeah, the homeless people. Which are not homeless anymore, for reasons that are never explained.
Well, you can get shared houses, so...
Okay, actually, never mind. I'm being unfair. Okay, to be fair, yes, there is an explanation. They say that Stan managed to find a job and Jimmy also apparently got a job. Basically, they managed to get jobs. How the hell did they get jobs, even though they were homeless? I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess
anyone
we
can get a
just
job
assume
if they
got
try.
lucky.
Oh, and here's Zoe, the girl we delivered. So yeah, Dwibs, apparently being delivered by a girl with a gift apparently also gives her a spiritual gift, because that's how spiritual gifts work.
Reminder, Dwibs, that earlier the reason she even had those powers was because it was a genetic theme from her mother. Yet now this game is suggesting that it's a contact.
Dwibs, this might come across to you, Dwibs, as incredibly dumb writing, but it's not. It's genius.
It's even more incredibly dumb writing.
Yeah.
And one thing that is different is like, well, in
There you
this
go.
version,
Basically,
Jody does not get item back.
In this version, Jody trains Zoe, and they both become superheroes.
It's like, well, Jody still has her ability, but for some reason, Aiden doesn't return in this one.
Actually, Joe, we're never told if Aiden returns or not. I'm assuming he does.
Well, we never see the still here thing, which pretty much shows up in every other ending.
He comes back in every other ending. I'm pretty sure he does in this one too.
Well, I guess that's technically open to interpretation.
Except nobody gives a shit. Anyway.
And now, Dwibs, it's time for the romance that actually makes the least sense.
All of them?
Well,
No,
yeah.
Jay.
Okay. Yeah, even that makes even less sense because she spent even less time with Jay than Ryan.
Who's Jay?
And then here she says
the
she
Taylor
knew all.
the Taylor Lautner dude from the Navajo farm.
I can't remember him.
He's even Native American like Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, basically, Dwibs, the super sexy hot guy that
From Sharp Boy and Lava Girl.
you see, Dwibs. You see, the lesson to take here is that people don't need to have relationships or similar interests. As long as you're both attractive, true love will shine forth.
Of course.
It's like I hate to say this, but the romance between Jody and Ryan, which is apparently David Cage's pet favorite, but I'll explain more on that later. But yeah, even the love between Jody and Ryan, despite what choices you may make, makes more sense than this one. I mean, Jody knew this guy for what, like 3 days
two
at
nights.
most?
2 nights.
And
actually.
And mind you, a lot of that was spent
never mind, Joe. I forgot one thing. The game does kind of imply in some dialogues that she actually does spend like quite a bit of days there. The problem is that the game pretty much never shows us that passage of time. So yeah.
I'll say, because it's like, well, you're sleeping one night, and then the next day, you pretty much spend that day doing all this.
By the way, here's an interesting thing.
I'm so glad to see you.
Here's an interesting.
Whoever you are.
Here's an interesting thing. Remember how at the end of the Navajo chapter, I got the choice to either hug or kiss Jay? Even if I choose to hug him, which I'm technically... Sorry, Jay. Even if I technically choose to not to just hug him, which kind of implies that there's no love, you still get the ability to come back to Jay and they'll be in love somehow. You'd think this ending would only be available if we chose the kiss moment, but that would make sense and be a nice little clever way to handle this ending. So obviously we can't have nice things.
You know, David Cage, classic Disney love stories are more believable than this.
But don't you see, Miss Shiroi? It is the beautiful demonstration of how beautiful love is. Look at this. It is two people from different places in love. It is the join of two different cultures. It is beautiful. It is...
Hell, I'll take falling in love at first sight over this.
I can't even remember this Jay person.
Shiro, this technically is love at first sight for all intents and purposes. Don't feel bad.
Not really. She didn't take one look at him and go, "Oh my God, I want to marry you."
Don't worry, Dwibs. There's a very simple explanation, Dwibs. The reason you don't remember who Jay is because he doesn't have a character. There you go.
Well, not only that, but he literally only shows up in one chapter. But yeah, Pedro, I mean, like, well, sure, is right, because like, well, this technically isn't love at first sight, since you know,
let me guess.
Technically,
no. Actually, she's alone here.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. That's another thing. We never figure out what happens to our companions in any of these endings.
She looks like one of them desert goers in Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
So here's what I don't get. David Cage swears that
I kind of wish I was playing Pandora's
mind.
Box instead. Can we play Pandora's Box?
No.
Yeah. She says the same thing every time too. It's like, okay. Shadow the Hedgehog may have had you play the game over and over, but you didn't have the exact same ending. I mean, you will always get this dialogue.
Oh boy!
The exact same dialogue each time, though, Shiroi, at the end.
Actually, Shiroi, from what I'm
It
saying...
was either knock Eggman out or maniacal hedgehog laugh.
Yeah.
Actually, Shiroi...
Yeah. But even still, they have different dialogue leading into those choices.
Shiroi, I gotta agree with Joe over here.
Mm-hmm. And now here's David Cage's personal favorite ending.
Oh boy.
I hate to say it, but I actually do find it better than the J, and to an extent the Alone one. The J one because that romance makes no sense, and the Alone one because bit of a nitpick, but still a point though. What exactly is Jodie's motivation for all of a sudden being a hero who helps people with Ghost? I mean, she hasn't been doing that on a normal basis the entire game. So, what about this whole situation where Ghost nearly?
Okay. You see, Dwibs, the lesson to be taken for you here, Dwibs, is that when you want to pork a girl, all you have to do is keep sexually advance her and keep asking her to be with you over and over and over, no matter how much she refuses you, and eventually she'll just surrender her will to you.
Okay, guys, here's my theory.
And to be fair, technically we are told, and apparently Ryan did have some development, but like Pedro said, that development apparently
but we were told, we were never shown this, which is what's supposed to happen.
What is it?
Okay, go on, Dwibs.
Here's my theory. Cage really wanted to follow up this game with Super Ellen Page in the sequel, but then Peter Berg, the director of Hancock, caught wind of this, phoned David Cage and told him no. I already did a dark, gritty superhero in my film. Don't you do it?
Or rather, after finishing working on the game and remembering how she actually met David Cage, he probably filed a restraining order.
Hey, Dwibs, apparently we're in a Bond movie now.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's not.
By the way, Dwibs, you wanted to.
It's not Die Another Day.
But she's not glamorous or voluptuous enough.
0 out of 10.
Oh, by the way, Dwibs, you know what else is special about this ending? As opposed to all her other romances, in this ending, Jodie gets full-on married to Ryan.
Whoa.
And now we're on what looks like the set for Far Cry 4.
Looks like the set of Lost.
So many endings, and all of them are shit.
They all suck.
Well, even worse, they all lead into the exact same...
It seems that Mena agrees.
Thank you, Mena. It's like... Okay, seriously, Mr. Cage. If you didn't want fans to ask for a sequel, why would you end on such a giant cliffhanger that, is the ending for all endings, no matter which ending you choose?
That's like asking the police not to arrest you for murder.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, I mean, you could have had, maybe that ending be for one of the endings, and then have all the other endings just end at, these cutesy
random coconut that somehow came to life.
It's like that scene from Pirates 3 where Jack threw a pebble and it turned into a crab.
When dying free,
the
first thing they'll learn is how cruel I can be.
Aiden.
Still here.
Let's rehash the exact same plot point 5 times.
Boo.
Hi, Aiden.
Dwibs, you're supposed to feel heartwarmed here. So yeah, feel heartwarmed.
Honestly, I'd feel more heartwarmed if I had heartburn. And they all live
and let's draw out this panning.
Well, give it
did they?
Well, give it some credit to us. At least they didn't start flying like at the end of Highlander, like that the deleted ending of Highlander 2.
At least they didn't do a Bollywood musical like they did in there. And nope, now it ends again.
We're literally okay. What's the point of having alternate endings if all the endings end in the exact same scene?
It's like I said, I mean, the only reason I could see this being justified is if you're having a sequel. So then, of course, you have this one plot point that stays consistent. But he says he doesn't have a sequel in the mix. In fact, he says he hates sequels.
Yeah, he's not going to make a sequel to this.
Okay. If it turns out he makes a sequel to any of his previous games...
I wonder, what if Detroit will actually end up being a sequel? Like, imagine, what if Detroit ends up being what is left of Detroit after all this?
That might actually be kind of interesting, so we can add that.
Nope.
So yeah, Dwibs, there you go. Quite possibly my biggest problem with this entire game. Imagine, my biggest problem isn't Jody, but this. It is the distinct lack of choice when it was advertised on a silver platter that we were going to have choice after choice. So, Dwibs, now that you've seen this, what are your thoughts?
Final thoughts on the game, Dwibs, since Jova...
Well, that yawn kind of said it.
Jova, Dwibs, and Jova, Shiroi, and me already did it in the first playthrough, so go ahead, Dwibs. Why don't you throw in your...
It's boring, it's tedious, it's David Cage.
Exactly.
Again, the only credit I can give to this game is that the acting's much improved over Heavy Rain.
And the graphics look pretty...
And well, David Cage games... Well, ever since the PS3, David Cage games have always had high production values.
Yeah. Steph, again, like I've said various times, Fahrenheit, as far as I'm concerned, is still his magnum opus. Fahrenheit is an amazing comedy.
So yeah, if David Cage wanted to go into movies, be a cinematographer or something.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I'll
went
admit...
from failed musician to failed director to failed video game dev.
He fails at every single thing.
It's so ironic that his game that has tank controls is still to this day overall more praised than his latest released game, which is so much more HD and does not have tank controls.
You know, maybe he should be a comedian because he seems kind of good at that.
Oh, no. Like I've said, I mean, the climax of Indigo Prophecy, Jesus Christ. The villain is the internet.
So yeah, folks, we're almost done with our retread, but we still have one more part to do. In the next part, we'll show Dwibs
Dwibs and me. But
messing
around with the share play in the PS4 version, and eventually we'll finally see a special, awesome little thing for you guys. Jova will, for the first time ever, play Beyond Two Souls.
And that won't just be one part. I'm actually going to do it peppered throughout. And yes, I'll be playing as Jody.
Well,
I think I was in that. Was I in that play share part with you and Dwibs?
Yes, you were.
Yeah,
yes,
I was Aiden.
You have to also try to be here for the Jova, because watching Jova play Beyond Two Souls, that should be quite a sight.
Yeah, sure. Give me a time and I'll do that.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
But
before that, audience, tune in for our look at the behind-the-scenes footage. We're Dwibs. Are you ready to see just how deep the rabbit hole really goes of how bonkers this game's development was?
No.
Well, too bad.
Too bad.
Well, too bad. You're gonna remember, Dwibs. The job of a commentator is never done.
Yep. See you next time.
See you next time, folks.